Welcome to the newest production of the Think Fit, Be Fit podcast. This is the Impact Your Fitness podcast. I'm Jennifer Schwartz, and today I'm going to share a bit about this podcast and myself. We polled my community of clients and students for some questions, and some of them are personal. But first, let's just cover what this podcast is about. I've been creating podcasts since 2018, and this is my first endeavor into shorter episodes that are solo casts. So welcome to this new upgraded version, and frankly, something our audience has been asking for years. So here we go. This podcast exists because exercise is such an important ingredient in a long and fun life. This is educational, being made to help you be a smart investor of your time in these two important exercise and fitness concepts. One is self-improvement, and the second is the knowledge of what and how we exercise and how it goes into the body and impacts our vitality. So with those ideas in mind, I will be sharing my experiences, my anecdotes, and what from this lens of like being in sports medicine and an entrepreneur for 10 plus years. And what I'm most excited about for this show is that I'll be providing you with insights in performance optimization and tips on aligning self-care with reason and science. So whether you are looking for self-care to get out of pain and more into exercise and challenging your body, or if you are on the athletic side of the journey where you are looking to create an edge for yourself, all of these stories could apply to either one of those people. And those are the types of people I work for in our studio. My clients have a desire to do something different than the conventional sports therapy or physical therapy model. They have a real curiosity about their body and what's going into it and how they are exercising their body. So they really want to get into the how. And that's what this is going to cover. Some of the how and some of I've tried it and, those anecdotes and stories and my insights along the way. So very excited about that. All right, a little bit about me. I guess a lot of it. So we can just start with Jennifer Simone Schwartz. That's my name. And that's where you'll find me on Instagram, Jennifer_Simone_Schwartz. And I also have a website of the same name, JenniferSimoneSchwartz.com. I am dedicated to this calling of learning and teaching a connected, exalted, and deeply satisfying perspective with exercise and our physical health. Not everyone has the enthusiasm for going to this level, which is why it's important for me to share it, because this enthusiasm is infectious, and I want everyone listening to have that satisfaction and smile on their face when it comes to exercise rather than dread and anxiousness. Okay, who am I? I think of myself as a creative thinker. I'm a problem solver, and that I'm full of originality. I've been heavily invested in holistic healing for over 25 years. I just turned 40 in April, so there's no sign of this interest stopping because it really is a deep part of me. Staying fit is a really important thing for me, and that I've been able to do it, stay fit and keep a high level of fitness despite old sports injuries, extreme grief in my life, PTSD, and really the craziness of being self-employed for 10 plus years and working in sports as a female. So I think all that stuff is really interesting and original, and I hope you find it those things as well. But what's important to me is that being fit in spite of these old sports injuries, and that's what so many of my clients resonate with. So that's one of the first topics we're going to talk about on another upcoming episode. I fell in love with strength training at the age of 16, maybe even 15. But I suffered multiple knee injuries, and that's what got me in the gym in the first place. And I was a competitive athlete, so I was in and out of PT and learning all kinds of stuff about how we move and discomfort and what it feels like to push yourself in an uncomfortable, non-competitive way. So because of this, I developed a curiosity for fusing athletics and fitness. And then eventually I moved on to just stoke that passion boundlessly. I've spent the last decade and working in a holistic health way with my practice in Alexandria, Virginia. And what we do there is the muscle activation techniques process and really interesting exercise application with isometrics and really focused, dialed in movements. So we tell our clients our job is to teach you how to use the right muscles at the right time. So we're working with the nervous system, the electrical system of the body, and the neuromuscular system to improve the output of the muscular system. So anyways, that's where I'm stoking my passion these days, right? But where this started, it stemmed from those knee injuries and being in PT and all that stuff I said, but also because my mother, Joan Kelly, died from Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, which, I developed this desire to save myself and my own nervous system and other people's from the degeneration that I saw. Watching that candle melt of the nervous system really shows you how much we rely on it, obviously, but feeling that pain of it, losing our electrical, essentially, connection to our muscles is, wow, it's like a deep desire to help change that, and feeling that really stirred something big in me, really feels aligned to take that experience and learn from it and help other people learn from it, right? So here we are. So I've been closely engaged with what I think is the science of how the nervous system becomes degraded and how it loses its health and how to heal the nervous system, how to heal the muscles and the nerves and treat our body with tender, loving care. Really, that's what some of this comes down to is TLC. TLC for our muscles and our body and our sleep and rest and all that stuff. So there's a lot in there. And that's why this podcast exists. And then I also want to say, I can say pretty confidently that we all need to face this as a reality. Either we know someone that has a neurodegenerative disease like MS or Lyme's, and this is a fact of how our bodies change too. It's just not as dramatic and drastic as Lou Gehrig's disease, but this is the declining health of our nervous system is something we're all going to have to face or in our loved ones, watch them, change through through that disease, right? And what that brings and the heart-wrenching heartaches. So anyways, it's good for us to get to know what these systems are and how it works within the exercise scope. So that's another thing I really enjoy sharing. And then over the span of my career into some more technical stuff out of the heart, I've achieved a master's of science in health management. I'm a published author for licensed medical professionals, and I became the creator and director of an injury prevention and fitness program for a competitive soccer association here, Alexandria Soccer Association, from 2013 to 2019. And then over the years, I've helped hundreds of athletes, maybe over 1,000 in the studio, on the field, in different parts of the country, and also remotely with virtual education content and for coaches as well, football and soccer or American, both footballs. But anyways, with the goal in mind to help athletes that want to prevent injury and work on strength and output and building up a really strong, resilient body. So I think I mentioned this. I boast the prestigious muscle activation techniques are a special certification. And we take this full body approach to injury recovery and strength training, incorporating learning and functional anatomy into all those things I mentioned that we're doing. And then, of course, there's the podcast network, where I started the podcast in 2018, and it's the thing I really want to grow and be excited about. I love podcasting. So thank you guys for being here. My newest project and offering is a signature course, Be Your Own Exercise Guru. And it's something I made for my clients that have questions about working out, okay? But I'm stubborn, so I don't just like give out advice. I ask my clients to think for themselves. And this course is the answer to that proposition. It's self-study, and it's made up of video lessons on all the special ingredients and mechanics that make up resistance training, because it's such an important piece of those things that I mentioned before, living well and having a strong nervous system, a healthy one. So you can check it out and purchase that at jennifersimoneschwartz.com. So where I'll leave this portion and get to the next is, what's my mission really with this and in general? And it's to spend more time and educate with this space between sustainable fitness and athletics. And I found incredible meaning and ability to give back in here. So that's where we're going to hang. That's where we're going to look at the human dynamic. Like, how does it heal? How does it recover? How does it stay that way in a sustainable manner? So I keep returning to it over and over again. There's so many topics that we can cover, and I really can't wait to dive in with you guys on some of these topics, like arthritis impacting your fitness and how to thrive with it. What are my tips? Because I have arthritis in my lower body, and we'll talk about that for sure. How the joints get wear patterns, like wear and tear patterns, like what that means. Like, people say it all the time, but I want to talk about what that means and the different tissues involved, or give you some talking points on it so you're a better consumer. That's the goal. And then another topic I have in mind is, how does the health of the muscular system impact your fitness? I get interesting questions like, does pinching in the hip impact your squats? That's a good question. I want to bring that up. How do SSRIs impact your weight gain and fitness? Let's bring some information and science on that, because a lot of people have questions about that. And then, of course, some of my favorite anatomy topics like hamstrings and muscles and abdominal muscles. And anyways, to end this really quickly, I've got a few questions from my community, and then we'll follow each other on social media and keep the good content coming in, keep the good questions coming in. So the first question was, how much sleep do you get? Well, I'm in bed for 8 hours, hopefully 8.5 hours. That's my sweet spot. My body doesn't let me sleep more than that. And I really am enjoying my new iWatch and all the sleep data. So I don't track every night, but I track a few times a week. And that's been pretty cool. Second question, what are your greatest indulgences? Okay, well, I don't hesitate to spend some money on gourmet food. So once a month, I eat pretty liberally. I do not drink anymore. So mocktails are kind of fun. And so, yeah, I really enjoy that. And also, I spend more money now on my skincare than I did 10 years ago. I think most women can say that. And so I'm really into these interesting skin treatments called DMK enzyme mask. It's like a 2-hour process, and it increases blood flow and healing, activities around the, top layers of your skin and a little bit deeper than that. So love those. I'll put a link to that. I also indulge in like body work, spiritual classes, spiritual advisement, astrology. And then, of course, anything eating wise, we do indulge in high quality beef, locally farmed beef. So, yeah, I think those are my biggest indulgences outside of athleisure clothing and all the biohacking tools, of course. Okay, how many times a week do I exercise? So I think it's 4 to 6 plus 3 days a week in the sauna. So, like I said earlier, I have a huge enthusiasm for exercise. And a part of my theory on this is like, I know so much about the body, and the way the body changes fascinates me. So, that's why we're doing this podcast. So, 4 to 6 days a week just feels wonderful and natural for me. Sometimes it's harder, of course, but it's not as hard as other things like budgeting and going to the dentist. Okay, there were like 6 more questions, but we're going to end with this one. Can you disconnect from devices? And I thought about it, and it's really no, I can't. Ironically, though, my iWatch has decreased my need to use the phone, and it helps me focus. I have a short attention span and a history with dyslexia. So I think it's no, it's a no. So that's the first episode. That's your intro to me. We did it under 20 minutes, which is fab. And please follow us at thinkfitbefit_podcast. And of course, Jennifer_Simone_Schwartz or JenniferSimoneSchwartz.com. Thank you guys and gals and theys and y'alls for being here today. I look forward to this new step in the journey. So be sure to follow and sign up. You can sign up for my newsletter at JenniferSimoneSchwartz.com. Have a great day, and don't forget to impact your fitness.